Okay, students, welcome back. So we're doing question 1 from the 2019 paper. Whoops. Okay, so let's read the question, see can we understand what we know and what we need to find. Aoife has €30. She spends half of this money on magazines. So far, so good, right? Simple enough. Then she spends €12.50 of what's left at the cinema. How much has she after paying for the magazines and the cinema? €2? No. Okay, so let's do it. So it's 30 minus a half, which is take away 15. So she has €15 before she goes to the cinema. She subtracts €12.50. The answer would be €2.50. You can use a calculator, but you probably don't need to. As you like. That's the answer. We drive on. Aoife has 2 brothers, Brian and Calvin. Each of the 3... Aoife has 2 brothers, so it's Aoife, Brian and Calvin. Each of the 3 has their own money box. The total amount of money is 164. So guys, the way I'm thinking of this is we should have A for Aoife, and just the letter A, is proportional to something B, whatever amount of money, is proportional to C for Calvin, and and this is the one you have to know to add the total. T for total. Okay, and now we can start putting money in, at least in some places. The total amount of money is 164, so we can start adding to our proportion table here with 164. The amount at Aoife and the amounts in Aoife and Brian's boxes add up to 117. So collectively I have 117 here, so I'm just kind of showing that. How much is in Calvin's box? Well, that's just straightforward subtraction, but I think it'll develop on. So we do 164 minus 117. Okay, which if you put that in the calculator, you get 47. Okay, equals €47. So that's new information that we can add to our model. So I'm going to write the number 47 here. Okay, and the 117 we're thinking maybe we're going to need to split that, but we have to read the question carefully. Aoife has €5 more than Brian. How much does Brian have in his box? So the 117 is to be split such that Aoife is going to have more than Brian. So without getting into algebra, I'm thinking I'm going to do a bit of trial and error here. Let's say it was 50 and 67. That's not, it doesn't have a gap of 5. That has a gap of 17. Okay. So I'm going to add 6 to this and take away 6 from this. And by trial and error, that's a strategy, I've stumbled upon the answer. Okay? When I said there's 17 between them, I thought that's 12 too much. And I thought by moving some money to the other side, I'm not going to move 12, I'm going to move 6 because half of 12 is 6. That's the way I did it. There is an algebra way of doing it, but I would recommend not getting into algebra if you can use common sense trial and errors. Okay? So I won't bother with x's and plus 5s or anything like that. That's the answer. That's how I have stumbled upon it. If you're not happy with that, ask me to do it the other way as well. Or will I do it the other way? Yeah? Okay, we'll do it the other way. We'll do it the other way as well. So we'll say we're splitting the 117 into x as a variable, and the other number, and Aoife will have more. So Aoife will have x plus 5, and Brian will have x. Okay? Now if you add them together, what do we get algebraically? X and x is 2x, and the 5 is still there, and that's equal to 117. So that's an equation to be solved. We subtract 5 from both sides, and we get 112. Half of that is 50 and 6, 56. So x is 56. Brian gets 56. And she gets 61. Because she gets 5 more than Brian. So there is that looking back element of the problem solving at the end, thinking, how do I use this 56 in my answer? And that's it there. Now and then the further thing you're doing when you're looking back. So just to remind ourselves of problem solving. Have you read and understood the problem? So understand the problem. Plan your solution. I used a strategy first, trial and error, but the second plan I used was algebra. Execute. Just do it. But don't forget the importance of the last thing, which is look back and assimilate and check. Have you answered the question? And indeed, what does your solution mean in terms of the question? In this case, I had to remind myself, oh, Aoife is getting €5 more. Okay, so that's the end of this one. I'll put it up on a video for you, and see you in the next one.